All right, so it looks like Donald Trump is really ramping up his attack on the media, and this isn't just talk anymore. He's making good on his threats. Let's take a close look at what's happening here, starting with a comment he made just yesterday. Here's what he said, roughly, I see others. I have a few others that I'm doing. I'm going to, as an example, I'm doing this not because I want to. I'm doing this because I feel I have an obligation to. I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very good pollster who got me right all the time. So then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points, and it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers love me, and I love the farmers. Before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. He's rambling here, but what he's trying to say is that he's suing Ann Selzer and the Des Moines Register. Why? Because he's mad about a poll they released. According to him, as this poll showed him performing way worse than reality, and he claims it was deliberately manipulated to hurt his chances in Iowa. That's a big claim, but like so much of what Trump says, there's no real evidence to back it up. And now he's filed an actual lawsuit in Iowa State Court, accusing Ann Selzer and the Register of what he calls brazen election interference. The lawsuit goes on to allege that this poll was somehow coordinated with the Democratic Party to help Kamala Harris by painting her as the inevitable winner. Trump's team says this was all part of a plot to suppress Republican voters and build momentum for Harris in the final days of the election. Of course, we all know how the election turned out. Trump won both in the Electoral College and the popular vote, but this lawsuit frames it as if he had to overcome some massive orchestrated conspiracy just to get there. Here's where it gets wild. The lawsuit doesn't actually prove any of these claims. It reads more like one of Trump's infamous rants. I read through the whole thing, and let me tell you, it's all speculation, paranoia, and accusations without hard evidence. Legal experts are already saying this case is likely to get thrown out. But the point isn't really about winning this lawsuit, is it? This is about Trump flexing his power. This lawsuit isn't about correcting some injustice or holding people accountable. This is about intimidating the media. Trump wants to send a message loud and clear. If you dare to publish something that makes him look bad, even if it's just a poll, you could end up in court. And it's not just about this one case. He's trying to create a chilling effect so that in the future, media outlets will think twice before releasing anything that could hurt him. He's setting a precedent, criticize Trump, and you'll pay for it. And if this tactic works, it's going to skew media coverage and polling in his favor. Think about it. If you're a pollster and knew Trump might sue you, wouldn't you be extra cautious? Maybe even lean your numbers toward him just to avoid trouble? That's exactly what he wants. And the irony here is that Trump calls this kind of thing suppression polling when he claims it's happening to him, but he's perfectly fine doing it to others. And it's not just Ann Selzer and the Des Moines Register in his crosshairs. Trump is also suing Bob Woodward and Simon Schuster for $49 million over interviews he gave for Woodward's Bookridge. Trump is arguing that those interviews were used without his permission, even though, let's be real, he sat for them willingly and knew they were for a book. The judge recently denied Trump's request to fast track that lawsuit. But the point remains, Trump is on a mission to silence anyone he doesn't like. Right? But here's the part that's really frustrating. The media is letting him get away with it. Take ABC News, for example. Trump sued them and George Stephanopoulos over a comment that a jury found him guilty of. Now, technically, the jury didn't use the word rape. They found him liable for sexual abuse, not rape under New York law. But the judge in that case basically said, yeah, the evidence shows Trump did exactly what most people would call rape. So Stephanopoulos wasn't really off base in what he said. And yet, ABC decided to settle the lawsuit for $15 million. Why? Probably because they didn't want to deal with the hassle of fighting it in court, but by settling, they gave Trump a win. Now, he gets to run around saying, see, I was right. The media lied about me, and I held them accountable. And that's dangerous because it encourages him to keep going. He knows now that he can push these lawsuits and intimidate the media into backing down. And ABC isn't the only one. Look at how other media outlets and tech leaders are caving to Trump. Jeff Bezos donated millions to Republican causes. Mark Zuckerberg bent over backward to accommodate Trump on Facebook and then hired Trump apologists and gave them prime airtime. One by one, these powerful organizations are selling out, putting their own interests ahead of democracy. And that's the real problem here. Legacy media isn't on our side. They're not fighting for democracy. They're fighting for profits. They're in the business of protecting their bottom line, not protecting the truth. And if that means cozying up to Trump or rolling over in court, they'll do it. This is exactly why we need strong, independent, progressive media. We can't rely on these big corporations to stand up to Trump. They've already shown us they won't. That's why I'm here. And that's why this channel exists. I'm not here to sell out my values for access or play nice with people who are trying to destroy our democracy. I'm here to speak the truth and hold power accountable no matter what. So if you value that, if you believe in building a media ecosystem that actually stands for something, I hope you'll support my work by subscribing to this channel. Together, we can build something stronger, something that won't back down no matter who's in power.